Hey, it's been a while. For old time's sake. Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Nerdy, and welcome back to the channel. This feels a little weird. Today we don't have anything to talk about Pokemon-wise. Draft League has been dissolved, and as you can tell, all history of the Draft League has been removed from my channel, and I haven't posted in almost 2 months. So yeah, this feels a little weird, but I'm back, and I wanted to kind of have a discussion just about where I'm at in general, and yeah, we're stepping away from Pokemon because YouTube is not really something that I thought that I would be super passionate about, but here we are, and honestly, this is something that I've been meaning to talk to everybody about for a while, but if you're not in the Discord, I guess I'll clue you in. So I stopped making content because I've needed to step up in a big way in my life. I'm currently working 2 jobs, which means I'm working 7 days a week. I don't have any off days. It's a lot, especially with my full-time job being as stressful as it is, but thankfully my part-time job is a lot lighter on me. So you might be wondering, hey, Nerdy, why the hell are you doing 2 jobs, dude? Isn't that like a lot? And yeah, that's true. I don't feel as stressed as you could be from 2 jobs, by the way. This is not like a please pity me, I'm working so hard. A lot of people have it a lot harder. No, for me, it's I have a baby on the way. I have a beautiful daughter whom I'm really excited to meet in 3 months, and yeah, it really changes your perspective a lot when you realize how much you have to step up. And with my partner not being able to work, carrying the load on my own has been a lot. The financial load. She's carrying everything else. It is a lot, which is why I decided to step away from the internet for a month, and then even coming back for the last month, not fully integrating as much as I had previously. And that's still going to be true going forward, but I still wanted to make content because it really is fun for me, honestly, to inform people about the games that I enjoy playing. So for the rest of this recording, I'm just going to be hanging out with one of the games that I enjoy, and surprise, it's not Pokemon, but I'm going to keep talking as I play. So this is Rocket League, one of my preferred games. Hopefully it's not too loud, but I haven't messed with it. But yeah, this is just gonna be like a really informal video, kind of getting a couple things off my chest while playing a game that I like, because that is the core of what I like to do, you know? So, as I said previously, I have a kid on the way, but as stressed as I could be, I feel better than ever, really. And it's really odd to say that because it feels like I'm not doing some of the stuff that I really like. Like, one of my, core personality traits is that I love to compete. Competing has been one of the things that gets me the most motivated. Pokemon Draft League in particular, and then I started to go to regionals with the greater Pokemon scene overall, and even in Rocket League, I tried out for a couple of sports league style teams, ended up making a team, and then dropping out before the season started because of all of this. But yeah, I've always been one to compete, and it's been one of the core personalities, especially of my presence online, and genuinely that sort of experience is what leads me to feel like informing the community at large with my videos, as well as sharing some of my experiences while competing through Draft League. So yeah, that's kind of something that might concern some people, and at first it did concern me as well, but like I said, I feel better than I have in a really long time. I feel more stable in my life than I ever have. And it feels weird that taking out these things that have been such core parts of me for so long has made me feel this good. Obviously, I still play on my own, and I just do it to take a little bit of steam off, but yeah, I don't know. I want to come back, and I want to compete, and I want to be making content, and I want to do Draft League stuff again, of course. That's been so much fun, but I think, honestly, right now, what I enjoy a little bit more is just talking in general. Like, I know it's kind of a weird thing to be interjecting here, but I've been way more socially integrated with like politics and things of that nature, and although I don't plan on making this into a political commentary sort of channel, I don't know, maybe in the future, instead of just like slipping in a couple of comments like, hey guys, maybe socialism isn't such a bad idea, maybe like legitimately talking about things. And since we're on the topic, that debate was crazy, by the way. I'm glad we allow a old man who has no idea what the hell he's doing, and another old man who clearly knows what he's doing and is extremely hateful, but gets away with it because we just elect hateful people into office. Crazy. Crazy stuff. Thank you for being as entertaining as always, America. Also, I hate it. So anyways, yeah, I like to talk about stuff, and so that's what this video is kind of going to be. I wanted to actually talk about mental health because, of course, for a lot of people, that's a really big part of our experience, right? Most of us don't have quite perfect lives, and you know, I'm going to kind of go into my experience a little bit, and this is quite personal and might be a little bit difficult for some people to hear, but yeah, I do like to share these types of things because I think that type of openness and that sort of destigmatization on mental health really does allow for more people to seek the types of help that they need. Because the truth is like mental health and all of our experiences around trauma don't require the type of absurd, like depressive and self-harming feelings to require attention. Like, you deserve help as much as anybody else, even if you're not thinking about hurting yourself. Which, before I continue, you know, not everybody is in the right place to talk about this, so if you don't want to listen in or have this type of discussion, I urge you to turn away now, maybe come back when you're feeling more up to it later, but yeah. So my mental health journey didn't start until, I would say, probably about a year ago now. It definitely started before that. So I've obviously been to a therapist before. In my high school years, sophomore, junior year, was when I genuinely started my mental health journey, meeting with a school-provided mental health professional. I think they were a therapist. I can't remember exactly what their job title was, but essentially, that was around the time that I had my first job. It's around the time that I met my current partner, and that was my first experience with mental health professionals. And I'll be honest, it wasn't a great one. Like, there's an idea around mental health, especially in Western medicine, that you aren't supposed to give your patient the answers. And that's a good practice when you're dealing with people's whose problems are like just the inability to process things every day, and they just need some more time to sit with it. And so you ask them questions to actually allow them to think about their situation. But it doesn't work in a lot of other scenarios. So a lot of men today have a sort of condition, which I don't quite remember the name of, but essentially what that condition is a sort of emotional blindness, specifically to your own feelings. Like, a lot of us will be able to empathize with other people and see, like, oh, you're in distress, you're feeling angry, you're feeling sad, and I can comfort you for that. But we don't give ourselves that same sort of empathy, in that, like, when we are feeling something, it's hard to pinpoint what it is. This often appears as things such as I would say, like, describing physical symptoms. So, like, when you feel sad, right, or you're about to cry, the physical symptom that men will often describe is like a really strong tingling or stinging sensation at the corner of your eyes, as well as like a sort of lump in your throat, like that sort of thing, maybe tightness in the chest. And like all of those symptoms describe sadness, but this sort of emotional blindness doesn't allow us to describe it as sadness or whatever else. We just describe the symptom of, hey, my chest feels really tight and I kind of feel shaky right now. So that sort of thing doesn't get treated by asking questions all the time. If you don't know how to answer the question, then asking another question doesn't help. And that was kind of how my high school therapist handled it. It was like, oh, I'll just keep asking questions. And oftentimes the only thing that she could help with was the amount of stress that I was dealing with my first job. And that's about it. And that's helpful. And anyone who is stressed with work, I do urge you to consider that sort of thing, especially if you can't find that with like a family member, a partner, a close friend. Like, being able to talk through your experiences at work genuinely does make a difference. And sometimes when those people who are close in our lives like ask, like, how do you deal with that, it genuinely changes your own perspective and allows you to see, like, wow, I deal with a lot and I do a damn good job at it. So for anyone out there who needs to hear it, you're doing really fucking good. And anybody who takes that away from you genuinely doesn't know your experience. Like, you are an absolute rock star. Take that with you forever. And like, that's still a good experience, but it's not quite what I needed. So, yeah, and it's really sad that like experience didn't go further. Like, it took another 4 years after that for me to genuinely seek better care. And it took almost losing my lifelong partner and now going to be the mother of my child in order for me to actually get the help that I needed, right? Like, for a lot of us, therapy looks very different for all of us, and that's why oftentimes people would recommend that if the first therapist doesn't work out, try again. Like, sometimes therapy styles are completely different, and guess what? That's because all of our experiences of life and trauma and all of these other things are different, right? Like, my experience of trauma was a complete blindness to the fact that I spent almost 14, 15, upwards of 18 years of my life completely lonely. And when I finally came back around to that, it's like, oh my God, I didn't even understand that my entire sense of self was just like trying to make bonds over the fact that like I am a smart kid rather than like actually whom is nerdy, or for those of you who know my real name, who is Michael, right? Like, I didn't have that expression of myself for almost 20 years, you know? And then by the time that I actually got to a point where I was okay with who Michael was, it was so hard to actually define what that was. It was a long and painful process of understanding how much trauma you go through and you blind yourself to every day. But when you get to the other side of it, it is worth every second of it. And if you take nothing else away from this, if you only listen to this part of the video, you are allowed to be proud of who you are. And I am proud of who you are. Because you deserve that. So, with that out of the way, like I said, I feel better than I ever have. And I hope that a lot of you can take that with you as well. Because gaining confidence in who you are and being able to define yourself as who you are is an important process of becoming not just mentally healthy, but resilient as well. Because for some of us who don't have that sense of self, someone challenging your sense of self becomes like a crisis level event. Like, they said that I am unkind, right? Like, or I am hateful. And if you don't have a strong sense of self, that's like a genuine threat to who you are as a person, right? So, yeah, just being able to have the resilience to look inward in yourself and be confident in the fact that, like, no, I am a kind person, and it doesn't matter that you say that I'm not. I know that I am, right? And then once you build that confidence, it becomes easier to express that kindness as well, right? Because now when you see another person in need of help, not only are you like confident in yourself of being kind, but it's easier to express to another person, right? Because like, I already know that I am this. I have the confidence that I am kind. But also, I am confident in the fact that you deserve help as well, and that it feels good when I give help, right? And help doesn't have to be like, I gave you $20. Help can be something as simple as like, I noticed you were having a bad day. Let's sit down and have a chat. And maybe it's not about what your day was, but like allowing you a sort of escape from that. All of those sorts of feelings are difficult to get through, and your kindness and allowing people to step away from that or more easily process that is powerful. So just make sure that like all the people in your life know that you care and that you're there for them. And oftentimes as humans, like, we reciprocate that. Like when you care about someone, they care about you just as much, because that is what a mutual bond looks like. You know, when I reach out to you, you feel more safe reaching out to me, and that's how you build those deep connections. And like, don't take that away from yourself or anybody else. You deserve deep connections. And yeah, I hope that all of you understand that like you don't have to close yourself off. You don't have to be emotionally devoid in a friendship. Like, friendships require you to be emotional with your friends, right? Like, and this doesn't have to be like I shared all of my trauma with you. It could just be like we shared like a victorious moment together. Like, I won the league, guys, let's go. That's emotional, that's powerful, and sharing that with your friends and celebrating together creates a deep bond, you know, because then they feel safe to celebrate with you as well. And I want everybody to feel safe when they interact with me and they interact with this channel, because that is the type of relationships that I like to foster in my own life. And you know, if this does grow to a point where like not all of these are like personal connections where like I speak with you all the time, then hopefully you just learn how to make those sorts of connections in your own life, because that is important. Not everybody gets that sort of feeling. But again, if you need to take something away from this video, it's not that like you have to change who you are in order to have close bonds, but just focusing on being a good person and being yourself and being confident in yourself attracts people to you. It builds those closer relationships, and it shows how genuine you are. And people pick up on that. Like, when you are not genuine, people pick up on that. But when you are genuine and you are confident in yourself, people pick up on that too. And that's how people become popular, and they have friends and they have really close relationships with everyone that they interact with. So just be genuine and be yourself, you know? It seems corny and it seems really easy, but these are not easy things. And yes, they are corny, but they're corny because everybody needs and deserves that. I feel like I've been rambling a lot, and this isn't one of my longer videos, and I could go on even longer. I've got so much stuff that I want to talk about. Like I said, politically, emotionally, video games in general. I just like sharing my experiences. I like sharing my knowledge. And I think that's where Nerdy Brain comes from. Originally, I am sure I've told this story before, but nerdy comes from when I was in elementary school. Someone called me a nerd as an insult. And I said, no, nerd just means you are already understanding the fact that I am smarter than you. And therefore, I'll take that as my name. Like, I want that sort of label. It's a sort of like reflection of how I don't let insults bring me down. I allow them to become part of me because I already know who I am, you know? But even more than that, like, nerd implies like a vast knowledge of something that is like complex, right? And I'm not trying to like say I'm smarter than anybody else or that anyone should feel dumb when they're around me, because intelligence and smarts comes in a lot of different ways, and my specific type of smarts just comes from like my tenacity, my specific passion for things, and just overall willingness to different ideas, right? Your smarts might look a little bit different. Maybe you're way more creative than me. Maybe you know how to express yourself better than I do. Like, that is still intelligence. Intelligence expresses itself in many different ways. But for me, my intelligence is something I want to share, right? Like, whether that's knowledge of Pokemon, whether that's knowledge of Rocket League or Yu-Gi-Oh! Or whatever other game that I play. And that's probably what my channel is going to be going forward. But also, like, socially, emotionally, all of these other things, I want to share this type of thing. And this is not a propaganda thing of like, you need to check in with your mental health all the time, or you are supposed to be with this political party. I do want to change your mind, but I don't want you to think that my way of thinking is the only correct way. I just want you to understand how openness to outside perspectives and intelligence builds a sort of like empathetic and diverse way of thinking that overall makes your web of knowledge much more powerful, you know? So, yeah, well, they're adding another 5 minutes of rambling. I think that is where I'm going to call it. This has been a really different video for me. I normally go in with like a clear thought pattern of what I want to talk about, but this was really freeform. None of it was scripted, and I enjoyed it. I really did, and hopefully you did as well. If you did, I will invite you to do all of the same things that I did in previous videos. Comment down below what was your favorite part of this discussion. If you have something to add, I'd love to hear it. And if you are willing and open, maybe share some of your own mental health journey experiences, and I'd love for you to share that with us. Obviously, no pressure, but thank you for being a part of this journey with me, and I hope this continues to grow. Love you all. I will see you in the next video. Peace.